Welcome aboard, folks, to Your Voice Counts on this Sunday morning. And don't forget to set your clocks forward. I almost did. But anyway, it's nice to have you here. Appreciate it very much. Today we have a very, very, very special guest on. One of the survivors that was aboard the USS Liberty when it was attacked June 8, 1967 by the State of Israel, murdering 34 of my shipmates and wounding 174 others, including my guest and myself. His name is Dan Byrd, and I'll bring Dan up in just a minute. So hang on, Dan. I have a little bit of USS Liberty work to do here, and then we'll get you right up. So just hang on and enjoy this show, and then we'll bring you up. The reason I do this radio show is in honor of the men that lost their lives that day, that didn't have a chance at life. Young men. Had futures. Some of them were going to stay in the Navy, some of them weren't. But they didn't have a choice. They were brought down by the state of Israel, our ally. 25 were blown to bits in a torpedo hole by one of three torpedo boats that sent 5 torpedoes at us. The ship had over 850 cannon rocket holes in it, 5,000 armor-piercing bullets, a 40 by 40 foot hole in the starboard side. Napalm burning us up. And the torpedo gunmen shooting at our firefighters and stretcher bearers in this 2-hour-long attack, about as long as the attack on Pearl Harbor. The United States of America did not send rescue aircraft to come to our aid when they knew we were under attack by a foreign country. That country, they did not know who was attacking us because we did not know. The planes they used, French Mirage jets, to attack our ship were unmarked. That's right, folks, unmarked. We couldn't tell who was attacking us. Fortunately, one of the radiomen, Terry Halbardier, got an urgent call out to the 6th Fleet, under attack. Send help immediately. And this message, folks, just didn't go to the 6th Fleet. It went around the world. It went clear to Vietnam. They heard it in Vietnam. That's right. But they sent no rescue aircraft to us. The President of the United States, LBJ, and his flunky McNamara decided they were going to let us sink. They said that they weren't going to embarrass their ally, Israel. Well, if we didn't know who was attacking us, how did LBJ know who was Israel was attacking us? It seems to me that there was some kind of a collusion there, some kind of a setup to sink our ship and blame it on a foreign government. And I know who that foreign government was. It was the government of Egypt. Because there were 2 planes on their way to nuke Egypt, nuke Cairo, turn them into glass if our ship goes down. By the grace of God and the brave, brave men aboard the USS Liberty, our ship did stay afloat. We didn't do it all by ourselves. The next morning, USS Davis, 18 hours later, came to our aid. Thank God we needed them desperately, and they helped us out and got us into Malta, along with the USS Papago and USS Massey. Hey, folks, hang on, support your sponsors. We'll be right back, and we'll get into our guest. Hang on, folks.
There were too many errors and too much time wasted. The bombs were coming down. It would be too late for liberty.
Golden Stag Safaris invites you to hunt in one of Argentina's most beautiful scenarios. Enjoy the quietness of the Pampas and the 5-star accommodation lodge. Excellent food and wine included in your stay, all the while hunting big game in the Argentine Valley, an area known for having a wide range of game, excellent trophies, the biggest stags in South America, as well as many other species, all gold medal quality. One-on-one guided hunts, rental guns available with the highest quality scopes in every caliber, Land Rovers for transport, pickup at Buenos Aires Airport, and a private aircraft for charter is all available. Go to www.goldenstagsafaris.com To see photos and for more information, again, www.goldenstagsafaris.com.
Are you facing foreclosure? Worried about late payments? Fight back and stay in your home. Zero Debt Guaranteed can help. We'll send you a free ebook just for calling 800-477-9256. Or go to zerodebtguaranteed.com. Get the details on how to remove your risk to your debt. And so important to many homeowners today, how to stop foreclosure. Forget loan modification. The Zero Debt in 90 Days system can show you how to get the bank to pay your property taxes and insurance while stopping your foreclosure without paying one dime. You can take control, stop foreclosure, protect your cash, assets, wages, property, and sleep peacefully at night. We've been helping people for over 18 years. Call Zero Debt Guaranteed, 800-477-9256. Ask for free information, no obligation. That's 800-477-9256. Or visit zerodebtguaranteed.com now.
With financial uncertainty circling the globe due to job losses, decline in the housing market, a climate of corruption, bailouts, currency rigging, and unfair competition, many are once more turning to precious metals as the only hedge against the uncertainty of the future. With the U.S. House conducting hearings on proposals to confiscate workers' personal retirement accounts, including 401ks and IRAs, this is the time to secure your assets. Call Republic Trading Group today, 800-691-7898 before this happens, and find out how easy it is to convert your existing IRA and in some instances your 401k plan into real wealth now. Don't let the ravages of hyperinflation caused by the massive increase of fiat currency now flooding world markets affect your retirement account. Call RTG at 800-691-7898 and experience the security and peace of mind that only real gold and silver can offer. That number again is 800-691-7898. Call now.
They said that Israeli forces knew not of the liberty's true identity, and so they took advantage of the serenity. They attacked the silent ship, making a 40-foot hole in the starboard, killing 34 and wounding almost 200 more.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go. Your voice counts on this beautiful Sunday in Colorado. We got a lot of snow on the ground, but it certainly is a beautiful day. The sun's out, not a cloud in the sky, so hopefully spring is on the way. Looking forward to it. Folks, we're going to get into the TAC in a little bit more detail as soon as I bring up my special guest, Mr. Dan Byrd. But first, there's a few people I have to thank to make sure that they're recognized and why I'm on this radio program. Real news, real talk, real people, RBN, because you can't handle truth. And that is because of John Stadtmiller, the owner of the radio station, who believes deeply in justice and honor. And he believes in our fighting men. He doesn't believe in deception. He doesn't believe in cover-ups, as I do not. The state of Israel got by with a big cover-up. War crimes, murdering Americans on the high seas and international waters. So he's given me the special honor of an hour each Sunday to honor the great men of the USS Liberty. May their names never be forgotten or our ship be forgotten. It's one of the most disgraceful, despicable acts of treason and war crimes in this century, that is for sure. I also want to thank, of course, Kat Faber, the gal that does the songs, these beautiful songs for the USS Liberty. She did these songs years and years ago at the request of Larry Thorne. Larry Thorne was a machinist aboard the USS Liberty, and before that he knew Kat, and they got together, and he asked her to write a song, and she wrote several songs, and she's got others on the way, and she did it actually very fast, she said, but I'll tell you, they sure are heart-rending to me, and I appreciated Kat very, very much, and Kat is also the producer of Your Voice Counts, who gets the guests like like our great guest today, Dan Byrd, and many, many others. I appreciate her efforts. She puts a lot of time and hours into it. A fantastic girl, and she's married to a fantastic husband. Her husband's name is Rick. And they've done a lot for this show, and I certainly appreciate it very, very much. As is another shipmate of mine, Ron Kugel. Ron was a former communications technician, short for spy. There were more spies aboard the ship than there was ship's company. There was around 200 spies aboard the ship, and Ron happened to be one of them. And as we pulled into Malta, Ron was a first-class petty officer, and it was his duty. He was ordered to, when we got into dry dock, to try to piece the bodies back together and find out who they were. He did the best he could, there's no doubt. Body recovery and identification. Now, these men have been in salt water from the 8th until the 14th of June, about 100-degree water, so you can imagine what kind of shape they were in. And the smell of the ship was just unbelievable. I'll never forget it. So I want to thank you folks very, 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 very much for giving your time and effort to keep this great radio show going. And again, thank you, RBN. And thank you, Crystal. She's our board operator today, a highly technical person that'll make sure everything goes great. And if you want to call into the show at the bottom of the hour, call in 800-313-9443, 800-313-9443. Now, I've got, I think, everything out of the way here. And I want to tell you a little bit about our special guest, Dan Byrd. Now, Dan came aboard the USS Liberty in 1966, and I came aboard a year before him in 1965, and I went straight to the engine room. I was a machinist mate for about a year, and then I transferred up to the shipfitter shop. But anyway, I can tell you, in the engine room is what they call the main control, and Dan happened to be working on the throttles at the time of the attack, and the throttles kept the steam going to the main engine, or main control, main engines, that you have to keep them at a certain a certain pressure. And there's many gauges on that throttle watch. You have to watch all of them. There's a great big clock in the middle with gauges all around it, and you have to make sure they're all just right. That's your responsibility. If you see something wrong, you got to make sure you correct it. Also, you know, there's pumps everywhere in there, and of course the main gear, and then you got the evaporators, which make salt water into fresh water, and just on and on and on. There's a lot of responsibility in the engine room, and I might tell you it is very, very warm down there. Right below the main control is the fire room where Gary Brummett and his gang worked, and a brave crew they are too, a bunch of great fellows, and I respect each and every one of them. Well, Mr. Byrd, Phil Tourney here, and welcome aboard, sir, and thank you for serving your country aboard the USS Liberty. And what brings you on Your Voice Counts today?
Phil, you and I had talked several times, and then Kat asked me about coming on the show, and I said I would, because I've never talked about this much. It's been 46 years. It's been a while since we were attacked. But I just wanted to come on and say what I had to say, and it's nothing more than what we've all said, the 260 survivors. We want answers. We would like to have an inquiry of a public deal to really find out what happened. The court of inquiry just said that it was a mistaken identity attack. And since then, there have been so many holes put in those theories that Israel said that to investigate it and get us answers.
Well, Dan, when you were aboard the Liberty and the attack first started, let's start there.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's begin just a little bit before there. But when we got into, through the Rock of Gibraltar and we knew there was war on, and it was between Israel and the Arab states. Who were you pulling for to win that war?
Israel. They were our ally.
Absolutely. There were plenty of Star of Davids around that ship, wasn't there?
Yes, there were. We were observed all morning by Israeli planes. They knew who we were. They knew we were there. We were on the war board early in the morning, then somehow we were taken off. I never understood that one. So we were on the right side. We had no idea who was going to attack us. We knew it wasn't going to be Israel.
When you were in the engine room when the attack started, Dan, and you were on the throttles, very important watch. There's not a lot of guys that qualified to stay on throttle watch, and I know because it took me quite a while to learn how to do it. But anyway, as I said before, it's an important job, and you know the gauges and stuff like that. And when the attack started, what did you hear through the sound-powered phones?
Well, I'd been on watch, and we had this big blower that blew fresh air down to us because it was so hot in the engine room. You know what I'm talking about, right on you, like a big fan. And I think it was 2:01 in civilian time. There was a big blast, and I felt soot and ash and everything hit me in the face. I had no idea what was going on until they sounded General Quarters, and all hell broke loose. And General Quarters had said, "This is not a drill," which really, we hadn't heard that before, ever. So it immediately got your attention. We had no idea what was going on because we were 40 feet below the decks. You know how the engine room is. So we were totally, had no idea what was going on. I just heard that we were being attacked and planes were coming in, and it was just total confusion at first.
When you were down there, Dan, and of course you didn't know, you couldn't see through the steel bulkheads or nothing like that, but you knew we were under attack, and when finally the jet aircraft quit and the torpedo boats got there, what did you see? Did you see any projectiles coming through the skin of the ship?
Oh, yes.
Or did you?
No, we lost power, that. And we were in the dark mainly with no power and very little light, but we could hear armor-piercing shells, bullets or something. We didn't know what it was, coming through the bulkheads or the side of the ship, the hull, and pinging around. So when we'd lost power, a lot of us took cover under anything we could take cover because it just totally was scary because you didn't know what was going on. So there was fear. You didn't know if you were going to get hit by something. So,
hang on, Dan. We got a break coming up. When the music comes on, we got to go do our business for Real News, Real Talk, Real People on RBN, because you can't handle the truth, folks. You're hearing eyewitness testimony from one of the survivors, Mr. Dan Byrd. Brave man, good friend. So hang on. We'll be back in just a moment.
Here at Republic Broadcasting Network, we have been building our online store. Well, we have been focusing on bringing you the best talk show host in the country. Here at Republic Broadcasting Network, we also want our listeners to have products they can use every day and in times of emergency. We have added new products each week to our store. Your support of this network, plus products at the best prices, is a win-win situation. Check out our new store. Go to our website, republicbroadcasting.org, and click on the online store located at the top of our website. Together, we can continue to grow RBN and help our listeners prepare for the future. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and click on our online store or call us at 1-877-605-9200.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Now more than ever, killing many viruses and bacteria in our homes and at work is important. With the flu epidemic running rampant, you need to protect yourself and your family the best you can with purified air. Our air purifiers not only kill many viruses and bacteria in the air, but on surfaces too. Our air purifiers will also kill molds, fungi, mildew, oxidizes chemical fumes and toxic gases, removes dust, pollen, pet odors, and smoke. We have portable units, HVAC and industrial size units. In our homes today, protect your family the best you can by calling 1-877-605-9200 or go to our online store at republicbroadcasting.org. Call today to receive your 10% off and free shipping on any home unit. 1-877-605-9200.
Well, the time has finally come for the story to be told that should have been listened to a long time ago. In 1967, on the 8th day of June.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go to Your Voice Counts, a radio show dedicated to the crew of the USS Liberty, the men that died that day, the people that support it, like our great Admiral Thomas Moore, Admiral Starring, and many, many others that tried to get the truth out before their dying days. And they certainly did everything they could to help us. And, I've talked to many survivors, and, of course, I've talked to Dan. And, we talked the other night. Everybody saw something different that day. And I wrote a book called What I Saw That Day. And Dan has got in his mind what he saw that day. And, if you want my book, just go to 1-888-698-8706. That's 888-698-8706. Tell me you want to buy What I Saw That Day. And you heard it on this radio program, you'll get a nice discount. Now, Dan, what you saw that day is what's inside of your head, and it's what it's done to people, and I can imagine, just imagine, because I was not 40 feet below the water line, as you guys were in man control and in the fire room, is that the worst nightmare you could ever hear is prepare for torpedo hit, starboard side. What were your thoughts?
Well, they called in, I don't remember how many, I think it was 3 or 4, I'm not sure. But they called them in, and everyone was holding their breath, praying. Some were praying, some were angry, some were scared. I was a little of all of it. I prayed, I was scared, and then I was angry. And I listened to them call them in, and then there was no impact. I thought, wow. And then we all had a sigh of relief. and thought maybe this was it. And then they called in another one. I forgot what side, starboard or something. And we went through the whole process again, and it missed. And I think there was another one that missed. And then, of course, one hit the ship. And when it hit the ship, I don't know about other people in the engine room, but my thoughts were, if it hits in this compartment, we're gone. Because if it hit in the engine room, it would have taken boilers and everything else, and then it was straight shot, through the top, and we'd just sunk like a rock. So when the torpedo hit, and it didn't hit our compartment, it hit forward of us in the CT compartment. All kinds of thoughts were going through my mind. Now what? Are we going to roll over because we had a big lift? And then you're thinking, or I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to get out of this because I'm below the waterline. If we roll over, I've got no avenue to exit. So I was actually preparing to die. That's what I was thinking. And I'm sure that many of the other people in the engine room were going through the same thing. And it's funny because fear, when you're scared, time is just elongated. It just seemed like it was forever. And it probably wasn't, but in my mind, I just knew that this was it. We're going to sink. And then when we didn't, then we all started trying to do something. Relight pumps, fix things. So there was a sigh of relief from that, but then anger just washed over me. I didn't know who to be angry at, of course, because I didn't know who was doing it. Go on.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dan. I hated to interrupt you there.
No, that's all right.
Finish your thought. No, just go ahead and finish your thoughts.
Okay. Well, and then once you got busy trying to relight things seemed to be a little better. We had no idea what was going on up on the deck. And you had seen it. I read your book, and we've talked, and some of the things that you went through are just totally horrific. Totally horrific. We had none of that napalm. We had none of that below decks. The only thing we had below decks were the armor-piercing, I guess, 50 calibers. I don't know what they were. But we didn't have the rockets, the rocket fire, and all the things that you guys dealt with up on deck. So after when we finally got to come out of the hole, okay, and saw the devastation and the smell and the burning flesh and everything that went on with those rocket attacks and napalm, it was totally just devastating. Totally devastating.
When you when you came out of the hole, I can just imagine the horror that you saw. All the men in the mess decks, sick bay, and as you know, Dan, some of them were wounded so bad it was almost impossible to look at them, the wounds that they had to suffer and live through.
Well, I saw. Okay, I saw those things.
I know you did. We're going to be right back, folks. Support your sponsors, Real News, Real Talk, Real People, RBN, because you can't handle the truth. We got a caller on, Ron in Wyoming. I know who that Ron is, so hang on, and we'll get back to you in just a folks. God bless you. We'll see you in just a minute.
It would be too late for liberty.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
American gardeners and fellow patriots, make the right choice with your money, time, and your family food supply. Choose 100% pure heirloom seeds in the Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com. Why spend more? The Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com is only $37.95 and includes 20 varieties of pure, hardy, easy-to-grow heirloom seeds. Yes, only $37.95. That's 70% less than our competitors. You could buy 3 Survival Seed Vaults for less than one of theirs. The Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com PureEffect.com includes detailed planting and seed-saving instructions and ships same day. Plus, all orders over $49 ship free. MyPatriotSupply.com is American-owned by patriots like you, passionate about freedom and preparedness. Call now, 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Or discover more emergency preparedness items when you order at MyPatriotSupply.com. Choose the original. Choose the Survival Seed Vault at MyPatriotSupply.com.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there is only one system that is consistently customer rated 5 stars as the #1 system for effective filtration of fluoride, radiation, drug residues, heavy metals, a wide range of radioisotopes, and more. Introducing the PureEffect Ultra, the next generation water filter that also raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and has advanced anti-radiation technology, all while using no electricity. Sold worldwide, it provides virtually instant clean water on demand. It is not made in China, and the shipping is free to all 50 states. Buy your PureEffect Ultra today by visiting PureEffectFilters.com. or call 888-891-4821. Again, that's 888-891-4821. Or visit PureEffectFilters.com.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Well, finally, the officials back to Washington sent out a message that the ship moved farther out to sea. There were too many errors.
Welcome back, folks.
And too much time went.
Thank you for joining in today on this Sunday afternoon. Wherever you're at, I wish you just a very, very happy Sunday. And if you went to church, I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, well, that doesn't mean that you don't believe in God. I don't go to church. I don't, but that doesn't mean I don't believe in God. I just don't believe what they preach. But I wanted to, before I bring Ron up, I just wanted to say one thing now. These men that survived this vicious, uncalled for murderous attack on the USS Liberty were put in a position that their country abandoned them. And it made a lot of men very, very angry and bitter, changed their lives forever. And I'm one of those men, and I'm not speaking for anybody else, but I think there's a few others that fit that category. When a person puts a gun up to your head and pulls the trigger 4 or 5 times, and it doesn't go off, you can imagine how it can make you feel. But, Dan, I want you just to explain for just a moment your feelings about the government of Israel and the government of the United States, how this has been covered up and how it's affected your life.
Well, I have no animosity against the people of Israel. And I have no animosity against people in America. My anger is directed towards the two principal governments. I've been called everything, and you have, and I know you have been too. I don't hate Jewish people. I'm not a Jew hater. I'm not anti-Semite. On and on. I've heard them all. I just have a problem with the two governments. the way the whole thing was handled, and especially with America, the U.S. government. I had grown up, Audie Murphy, Wayne, John Wayneism, and had total faith in America and everything. And after we were treated and just totally thrown overboard, my whole life changed. My whole opinion changed of the government. The politics from World War, the Korean War on through today is just awful. The people are supposed to be running this place, and it seems like we're not taken care of.
No, we're not taken care of, and I'm gonna bring up Ron in Wyoming. Ron, welcome to the show, and again, I appreciate all the help you give. Your voice counts to keep this great radio show going, and please welcome Dan Byrd, please.
I want to thank you for coming on. I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I never do. I want you to be able to say everything you are saying, and I got to tell you, I agree with it 100%. Can't hold all the people in this country responsible, all the people in Israel responsible, but the people that were the VIPs of that era and the way they handle that, I certainly hope they're heaping some fuel on a very hot fire somewhere. Dan, I appreciate everything you did. I probably wouldn't be here without your part in keeping the ship afloat.
Is this Ron Kunkel? Who's talking?
Yeah, this is Ron.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. It just amazes me. I'm still amazed today when I talk to someone and they say, were you in the service? And I say, yes. And I was in the Navy. And I mentioned Liberty, the number of people who've never even heard of it. And all I do is direct them to a website. Just go look up the USS Liberty, and then you'll see, make up your own opinion, your own mind. And when they come back to me and talk to me, first thing out of their mouth is, what? How can this happen? How could that have happened?
I agree with you, Dan.
It's a constant.
Go ahead.
It's a constant theme.
Yeah.
All we wanted were answers. Look, when we were told, and Phil and I talked about this the other night, when we were told not to talk to family, friends, media about the attack, and yet the attack was a mistaken identity deal, why couldn't we talk about it? What's the reason? And the only reason I ever came up with was that they didn't want public outcry. They didn't want people like public outcry in Vietnam changed that war. We got out because the public was pouring out. In our case, there wasn't that much outpouring of public opinion. So, to me,
let me interject here, guys. The reason there wasn't, and there isn't now, is because of the cover-up. Nobody knows about it because they did such a good job with the cover-up. But we have documents, we have eyewitness testimony, we have we have Ron, we have many others, and that even the government today does not recognize us as they think we're a bunch of fools and idiots, and we're not. We're trying to tell the truth here. As you said before, we're not anti-Semites. We're not Jew haters. In fact, I've had some of the most distinguished Jewish people on this radio show than probably anybody on any radio station. So for us,
amen to that, Phil.
Yeah, for them to call us anti-Semites or whatever, guys, just isn't going to cut it. And you were talking, Dan, about going to on the internet. If you want the best site in the world, is John Godusco's. He was a former officer aboard there. Go to tinyurl.com/USS Liberty. tinyurl.com/USS Liberty. I think I mentioned it before the show. If I didn't, I apologize, John. But anyway, this is where it's at. This government today knows it was a cover-up then, and they're covering it up just as they did in 1967. So that does tell you the power of AIPAC, ADL, ICE, and other people to support the higher ups in the Zionist movement and the Christian Zionists in this country that support Israel rather than support the United States. Now, I took an oath, as you guys did, to protect the United States, from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that hasn't happened. And our elected officials can barely even keep this country running, so I guess they don't have time for us, never did.
Yeah, one final thought, Phil. Can I have one final thought here? I want to get off here so somebody else has got some time. I just want to tell you, Dan, that I've been in the church for a lot of years. I've been a member of the church, several different churches, and I've led the music in three churches. I'm sort of music-oriented and play the piano, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to tell you that there have been some that I have talked to in certain churches that I probably won't mention here right now, and once they read this book, they're appalled. And they, of all people, will turn around and say, there's no way this could have been an accident. These are Christian people, and it's happening.
I agree, Ron, and I was just wondering. I know you're very good at music, and you sing in church and everything. And as old as you are now, can you still see with the glasses you have the notes and stuff?
I got a question for you, Phil. Was you a Buckhorns fan?
I was a Buckhorn fan now.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I got to get out of here, guys. I want to leave room for somebody else. Hey, Phil and I go at this, Dan, on a fairly regular basis, and most of the time it pertains to my age, so you just kind of got to take it with a grain of salt.
Hey,
I love this man. I love the whole crew that survived and the families of all of them. So he has to do this. It's important to him.
Okay. Thanks, Ron.
Okay, listen. Thanks, Ron. God bless you, brother.
God bless you, and you too, Dan.
Texas.
All right.
Come on, Texas. Earl, are you there?
Yes, sir. Sure am. Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing? What brings you on Your Voice Counts, Earl?
Okay. A couple of years ago, I had written to Congresswoman Kay Granger, and I had asked her to open up an inquiry concerning the USS Liberty. And it was only about a page long that I had wrote to her on this subject, and, well, of course, I have never had a response from it. But I just call and let you know, some folks out here, we're trying to help you all out by trying to get some inquiry going.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's a double thank you from me, Earl. I appreciate it. How'd you hear about the USS Liberty?
Well, I've heard about it a number of years ago, and I can't exactly recall exactly where. It may have been in the old Spotlight at the time, but I can't really pinpoint it. But I know there's a lot of fraud that has been going on in government and so forth, and a lot of cover-ups in a lot of different areas. And I will say this, and not to be offensive to y'all, but I think all of this stems from a very poor foreign policy, a policy that is contradictory to the founding principles of our country. And if we had stood the line, we would not have been in any type of position. When I was a kid, they kept telling us, if Vietnam falls, America is next. So I bought the propaganda, joined the Marine Corps, and of course went on. But it was pretty much all lie. But we had a good knowledge of our history. I believe none of this stuff would have occurred.
Well, excuse me for a minute. There's a video out about Why We Fight. That's the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that video, and it changed my whole perspective. Phil, have you seen that one?
I have not, Dan. I've heard of it.
It's by Karen Kyle Cost, whatever her name is, the lady from Virginia, Karen. Anyway, it opened my eyes up. It's about the economic things of the war. Companies, this and that, and lobbyists and everything.
Well, sure. I mean, and the great General Smedley Butler, he brought forth war as a racket.
Well, that's basically what this is about.
Mm-hmm, and that's what all wars are. And, we have drifted off that sound policy under Theodore Roosevelt. They had merged ourselves into the Spanish-American War, and then everything took off from that point. But anyway, I'm drifting off of my point, but that's the reason I had called in, to let you all know that, some of us are out here trying to do a little bit, not much, but trying to do a little bit to open that door.
Thank you.
Well, Earl, I'll tell you, buddy, that means the world to me. And your service to your country in Vietnam, and I joined in 1964, and I ended up making 2 tours to Vietnam. I wasn't a ground pounder, of course. I was in the Navy, but I know the horrors of Vietnam, and in fact, I was talking to my wife last night. Almost 60,000 young, wonderful men gone for what? And if that isn't a heartbreaker, I don't know what is. And I just wanted to thank you, Earl, for your service, even though it was, hey, listen, you're a young kid and you wanted to do what you thought was right for your country, and you did serve your country. But I just can't tell you how much I do appreciate your service of the United States of America, and Semper Fidelis to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let me, if I could, make one last comment.
Sure.
Yeah, my daddy, he just passed away last April. He was in the maritime service, and he was on one of the famous run PQ-17. I don't know if you're all familiar with it, but they set sail, I believe, with 85 ships going up to Murmansk, Russia, under that Lend-Lease. And he was on one of 5 USS Winston-Salem that made it through, even though they were pretty well badly damaged as well. But near the, about 10 years ago, he told me all of that was all for naught as well. So there's a lot of folks, even though he was old and, up in age at that time, start to understand that, most of this stuff is not for freedom, but for the advancement of political gain, I would imagine. But anyhow, I'm jumping off and let somebody else on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Earl. And,
yes, sir. Thank you all. Appreciate your
call
service.
Back in. Yeah, yes. Thank you. Call back in anytime.
Thank you.
Dan, you were just talking about that film. I'm gonna have to look at it, but
it's just called Why We Fight, and I'm sorry I can't get this lady's name right. She was I believe in the Air Force, lieutenant colonel, and she worked in the Pentagon, and she had 2 sons, and she won't allow them to go into the service after serving that and seeing what really went on. It is a eye-opening documentary, basically. It's just called Why We Fight. I don't know. That's how I found it. I just looked it up on the search internet. It is an eye-opener, big time.
Oh, absolutely, and
she was going to be a career officer. She got out. She said she couldn't deal with this. And that's from her who worked there.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of people in the service that understand that, and the wars that we're in right now. Here we are over almost 11 years in Afghanistan, all the lives lost in Iraq. What for? They just blew up. They just blew up 50 or 60 men yesterday and wounded close to 100. As our new Defense Secretary Hagel from the great state of Nebraska was there. And so stability, have we brought stability to that country? I don't think so.
Well, look, the idea of this whole deal of America, we're fighting for freedom. No. We fought for freedom once, but today, and in the past, I don't know how many years, it doesn't seem like we're fighting for freedom. I didn't feel threatened by the Vietnamese or the Iraqis. Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And my son, he joined the Army about 6 years ago, and he went to Afghanistan, and he ended up getting hurt, and he spent 14 months in the Wounded Warrior program.
What a great program.
Yeah, it is. It is, and we didn't have that type of stuff when we were in. They they didn't have that, but thank God they have it now. But you know, all people that go to the war are different when they come back, and some come back hurt, some come back don't, but that not hurt. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We got 7 or 8 minutes left of the show, Dan. So hang on. Real news, real talk, real people. RBN, because you can't handle the truth. Thank you, Crystal. You're doing a fine job. Appreciate it.
Herbal Healer Academy's new summer specials. Our 500 parts per million colloidal silver, all sizes on sale. Organic liquid iodine, liquid cal, mag, vitamin D, CoQ10 with hawthorn, colon enhancer, Super 2, natural laxative, our exceptional product Connexin, memory power, and Super Male and Femplex. All on sale for the summer at herbalhealer.com. Also, 10% off on the HHA survival course. This is an important time to have this information. Might save your life. Nation's leader in supplying quality natural medicine and education. herbalhealer.com. Free online newsletter. Quality natural medicine supplier since 1988. We ship the same day you place your order. Free 128-page catalog with your first order. Go to herbalhealer.com today. herbalhealer.com.
Time to relax and unwind. What better way to do so than with Santa Barbara bells? For over 25 years, our wind chimes have been helping people to relax and enjoy life. Turn your home environment into a pleasurable experience. From the small overture chime to the large super bass, you will find just the right chime to enjoy. All wood, strings, and cordage are protected for long life, and all parts are rust-proof. You have 10 sizes to choose from. To see and hear more of the chimes, go to santabarbarabells.com or call us at 805-733-1513. Santa Barbara Bells is currently having a springtime sale. Come to the website and save up to 50% on all of our chimes. santabarbarabells.com.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
They said that Israeli forces knew not of the liberty's true identity.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go for the last few minutes of Your Voice Counts. And again, thank you, Kat Faber, for your beautiful, beautiful voice. You're the angel of the USS Liberty. There's no doubt about it. And we have another caller, Dan, so I want to make sure he gets in. Anybody calls in, I want to make sure they get on air. And we got Cannon from Virginia. Please go ahead.
I'm Ken White, president of the Virginia Taxpayers Association. The name of the officer that you want to know is Karen Kwiatkowski.
Thank you.
She's a retired lieutenant colonel in the Office of Special Plans under Wolfowitz, and they forced her out because she wanted. She knew that the Israel and Mossad were back of 9/11, and they forced her out. She's a friend of mine. Is Karen. Kwiatkowski, and she and her husband run a small beef farm in the Shenandoah Valley now. But there's an up-to-date. If you look on their webpage, www.virginianewssociation.com. VirginiaNewsSource.com. Virginia News Source is one word. www.virginianewssource.com. And this is another cover-up about Bob McDonnell. And we are predicting that when he retires from the governor's job, he can't succeed himself. He'll run for the United States Senate, but he will be defeated by Delegate Bob Marshall, who has introduced a bill requiring all schools to have designated personnel, a principal and volunteer teachers, to take a 3-day concealed gun carry course so that they can have guns in the classroom so that they will be safe. And McDonnell will not allow this, so McDonnell does not support the Second Amendment. And call the Gun Owners Association of America, call the National Rifle Association, call the Second Amendment Committee, Bernadine Smith. She's given us a Patrick Henry Award, so she knows us. Why don't they have this on their blog? Well, why aren't these Second Amendment committees supporting the Second Amendment to tell this story? It's a dynamite story, and it should be on the Drudge Report. So call the National Rifle Association, call the Gun Owners Association of America, call the Second Amendment Committee, and tell them to put this information on their blog and let people know what's going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I will do that. And look what they're doing in Colorado to the Second Amendment. If you want to see the Second Amendment being torn apart, that's where it's happening. Go ahead, Dan.
Phil, the real reason I came on your program is I just wanted to pay my tribute to the families and the victims who died on June 8, 1967. And you know how special Philip Tiki was to you and I.
Oh, absolutely.
And I just wanted to pay homage to them because they gave everything. They gave everything. And well, you said I wouldn't get emotional, but right now I'm emotional just thinking about those people.
Well, thank you, Dan, for being on the show, and I know where your heart is, and you're a good friend, you're a good shipmate, and you did your part in saving the USS Liberty from sinking, and please come back on the show.
There will be, the show ends and we still have no answers, Phil.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely frustrating. That's what's so frustrating. Just give us an answer.
Yeah, I appreciate that thought,
Thank
Dan.
you.
God bless you. We'll see you later.
God bless you too, Phil.
And hey, folks, come back and see us next week. Real News, Real Talk, Real People, because you can't handle the truth on RBN. And thank you, Crystal, again. Great job. Bye-bye.